Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the UTFL Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Colton Thomas. Miss me yet? I've been out of town helping the Happy Valley Derby darlings, but now I'm here to talk football. So let's get into it. Being gone for about 2 weeks, don't got any film, so no highlights. But we can still talk about last week's games, go over the predictions, go over UTFL standings, take a look at the playoff picture, and go over this week's predictions. So let's jump into it. Game number 1, we had Spartans versus the Wolves. I had the Wolves winning this one, but I guessed incorrectly. Spartans came out on top and hunted down the Wolves, 21-0. Our next game to review is the Hive and the War Chiefs. War Chiefs wanting to show they have something to prove, and the Hive as well want to make the same statement. But War Chiefs came out on top, 22-6. Third game, we have Braves and Wyoming. Braves are starting to click and putting up points. Wyoming is still struggling to figure out 9-man football. In the end, Braves beat the Wyoming Outlaws 13-0, though the Wyoming held the Braves to only 13 points. Game 4, Space Force versus the Knights. Not much to talk about here. Space Force came out and blew up the Knights 46-0, undefeated on the season so far. Missing the last 2 weeks, I'm just going to combine my last 2 weeks of predictions into one prediction review. So, let's take a look. Out of 8 games this time, I went 6 of 8, giving me a 14 out of 20 overall. Hodel went 7 of 8 and putting him at 15 of 20 overall. With only a few more weeks left in the regular season, I could still pull ahead and win the prediction battle. Things are starting to shape up in the UTFL standings. You got top 4 battling for the top spot, and the rest are battling for a spot in the playoffs. So let's take a look at the UTFL standings. Not a ton of movement. Space Force, one of 3 undefeated teams left at the top, followed by the Fallouts and the Outlaws. Braves round up the top 4. War Chiefs, Hives, and Spartans are all 2-2, but the War Chiefs have the head-to-head on both those teams. Wyoming is sitting at 8th at 1-3. Knights, Reapers, and Wolves are all still looking for their first win of this season. Now that we're halfway through the regular season, let's take a look at the playoff outlook. See where teams would be if the playoffs were to start this weekend. In our first round on top of the bracket, we have the Braves playing the War Chiefs, with the winner playing Space Force in the semifinal round. On the other side of the bracket, we have the Fallouts playing the Spartans and the Outlaws playing the Hive. Outside the bubble, we have Wyoming playing the Knights and the Reapers playing the Wolves. Heading into week 6, let's take a look at which teams are playing who. First game of the day, we got the Knights versus the Hive. Knights looking for the first win of the season, while the Hive are looking to go above 500. Game 2, we have 2 undefeated giants going at it. Fallouts and Space Force. Someone has to lose. This will be the game of the week. Game 3, we have the Reapers and Wyoming. Reapers are one of 3 teams looking for their first win this season, while Wyoming is still figuring out 9-man football. Game 4 is a very close second in game of the week. We have the Outlaws versus the Braves. Now that we know who's playing who, let's take a look at the week 6 predictions. Game 1, Knights and Hive. Knights are having a horrible season, haven't been able to get anything going offensively, and defense hasn't been very stellar either. Hive have been able to get a few wins this season and are able to move the ball. Hive are going to win this one 18-6. Roger Hodel agrees with me exactly, 18-6. Game 2, Fallouts versus Space Force. Space Force has been red hot, but can they keep it going? Or will they run out of fuel and drift into space? Fallouts know how to play in big games. They've been tested time and time again. They know how to win these games as well. I had the Fallouts winning this one 28-12. Roger Hodel has been bitten twice when picking against Space Force, so he chose not to do it again. He has Space Force winning this one 20-19. Game 3, Reapers and Wyoming Outlaws. I don't see the Reapers getting much done this game, and Wyoming has played tougher teams and looked pretty good, but they were unable to get wins. So I have Wyoming winning this one 20-0. Roger Hodel again agrees with me, 20-0. Game 4, Outlaws versus the Braves. Outlaws have looked strong so far this season and stayed undefeated. Braves' only loss came from Space Force. I have the Braves winning this one though, 22-8. Roger Hodel has Braves winning 22-18. So, don't get any film from last week's games. So, no highlights. Sorry. No top plays. Sorry. Plus, I won't be up there this weekend to film. I'm a busy guy. Sorry. But next week, hopefully I can come out, film some games, do some highlights, and do some better reviews. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Give me a like. I'm your host, Colton Thomas.